So this is a, just me being transparent post this morning. I'm just being transparent. Yesterday I went to bed early. I had a doctor's appointment and things didn't go like I, wanted them to go. So, for a moment, I had a human experience. I allowed myself to be in it and I was just like, you know what, let me go ahead and go to bed. And in my resetting, I just started thinking of some stuff. And what I really started to focus on was your purpose and your preference. A lot of times, God already has what it is for you. But a lot of times we miss it because of our preference. Let me give you an example, right? Because I love to break things down. When I joined the military, my recruiter told me that I would not be far from Detroit. He said, you're going to go on to Chicago, and then after school, you're going to stay in Chicago. He lied to me. So I finished boot camp, finished school, and they had this thing called the Dream Sheet. And I think it was like 4 places that you can write down that you wanted to go. So all of my stuff was, based around what my recruiter told me. So when I got my orders, they sent me to Japan. And I remember in that moment, I'm like, what? I'm not close to home. You gonna send me across the world. You see, my preference was going to delay the purpose God had for me. So I end up going in Japan, and let me show you how God works. So my thing was, I was so used to seeing my grandfather pray for me every night, every morning. And I felt like now I'm on the other side of the world. What am I to do? But God had already provided me with the foundation to pray for myself. So being on the other side of the world, I had these moments to where I'm just like, okay, I got to pray for myself. But I went to the flagship, the communication ship. So even when times got rough, I was able to pick up the phone, and all of y'all that, was stationed with me, whatever, pick up that phone and you know that code, you can call home. So although I was far away, I still had a line of communication. And I'm saying that because a lot of us in life, we are stuck because of what we prefer, because God's purpose doesn't look like what we think it should look like. You see, I'm dealing with some stuff health-wise, and I prefer not to be going through any of this type of stuff. But what I have to understand is there's a purpose for me to go through it. You see, even in my family life, I prefer for all of us to be close. My grandparents preferred for all of us to be close. But in the reality, it's not possible because there's a segment that's just not in line with the purpose that God has for me. You see, sometimes you get stuck on wondering why people don't love you like you love them. And it just comes down to because that's not God's purpose. You prefer, but it's not the purpose. So you're stuck wondering why these feelings aren't given back to you, and that's not for you. And what happens is when you keep focusing on what you prefer, you miss the purpose. You see, I prefer that I don't have any problems. But what I have to understand is that what God has for me, I got to go through some stuff. You see, God was on this earth, Jesus, and he had to endure. And this is where a lot of people get conflicted because they're like, well, if he had all power, why did he have to go through this stuff? Because it was the purpose. When he died on that cross, that was the purpose because it was bigger than him. And see, a lot of times, for myself, the purpose that God has for me sometimes put me in a position that I got to pray for people that's praying on me. I have to pray for people that are praying on me. My preference is to say, you know what? I'm going to do to you what you've done to me. But in doing that, it throws off my purpose. And that is my message in this video. A lot of times you're looking at the now. You going through some stuff and it just seems like every time you start making traction, something happens to throw you back down. But God is not the God of time. That's a human thing. Our 4 o'clock does not resonate with God. And what you have to understand is what you think that is taking long is like that to God. And it seems longer when you're not walking in purpose. You ever dealt with someone and they tell you about what they're looking for in a mate? They tell you, I prefer 6 foot and over. I prefer, 5'5" Coke bottle shape. I prefer. And God is sending you your helpmate. But because your preference, this person isn't 6'2", they're 5'7", but God has paired you to, but you so focused on your preference. That woman that you think don't look like these models that you see on IG, but that's who God has for you. Because when those two combine, she might be the one to propel you to get you to where God wants you. He might be the one to propel you. You might have been at that job for 10 years. And one day God says, you know what, it's time for you to move. And then you say, well, God, look at the economy. You know, I got these bills I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. And it's because you are not believing wholeheartedly in God. See, you prefer to be comfortable. And comfortable, when you're comfortable, there's no growth. And God is saying, I just need you to trust me because I got better for you. But you fall into your preference. So preference and purpose are two different things. Yesterday, as I went to bed early, you know, and I'm just sitting there and you know, when I woke up this morning, I did my prayers and stuff, and I just didn't even feel like coming to do a video in the moment. And I was like, I'm not even gonna go to the gym. And I laid there for a second. And I was just like, you know what? While I still have the ability to be able to get up and go to the gym, I'm gonna do it. While I still have the ability to be able to make a video, even when I feel like, you know, I'm not feeling my best, that video might be something that somebody needs to see. And that's how I'm living my life in this age of 45. You see, a lot of people don't know what I'm going through. And I choose not to say everything that I'm going through because when God gets me through it, then I'm going to tell my testimony. I prefer not to have to go through anything. But my purpose is I have been doing these videos for a long time. And if and the people that's new to just not seeing me, go back and look at all of these old videos. I have always had a message of faith and perseverance. Like that's always been my message. So how can I, when I come into a roadblock, not believe in what I'm saying? My preference is I want to skip through life blowing bubbles and feeling good. But my purpose is I got to go through some stuff in order to even make these videos. I can't make a video about something that I haven't personally went through. And I done went through some stuff, and I'm going through some stuff. And everybody out there is going through some stuff. But just take a moment and see, why are you stuck there? Because what you prefer does not align with what God has for you. You are stuck on a moment in life when these people was talking about you. You get stuck there. And because you're stuck there, everybody else pays a price. So now you ain't letting nobody come around you because of what they did to you back there. So you prefer to be a one-man army. But God got all the troops behind you. You got to walk in your purpose. And that's my message today. Walk in your purpose. You want to know how you know that you're not walking in your purpose? When you just don't feel right. Sometimes when I go through some stuff, I want to come on here and I want to air out dirty laundry, but then I wouldn't be walking in my purpose. And when you don't walk in your purpose, life is that much harder. It doesn't mean that you're not going to go through some stuff, but when you are aligned, you have to understand that every new level in your life is going to be a new devil. But God has already provided you with the tools to beat him. So just remember, there's a difference, preference and purpose.